How's it going, guys? This is your boy Teej 319, and I just received some tragic news that really opened up my eyes and kind of made me examine the way that I've been living my life. And I wanted to share the story with you guys because I think it could do the same to you. And before I get into the story, there's two things that I kind of want to make clear. First, unlike most of my commentaries, I have not thought about what I'm going to be saying during this commentary at all. For most of my commentaries, I have it planned out in my head what I'm going to say and when. It's kind of like I'm going to say this, then this, then this. But for this commentary, I didn't map it out in my head at all, and I'm just kind of freeballing it. And the second thing I wanted to add is this is my first take at this commentary, and it will most likely be my only take, just because I want to talk about this topic as little as possible, but I also want to share it at the same time. So I'm going to hopefully just get it in one take, and so if there's a few parts where I mess up, excuse me, and I hope you guys can understand. Before I actually get into the story, there's a few things that I have to give you in terms of background information. First off, I go to a private school just on the suburbs of a city, a busy, big city. And like I said, it is religiously affiliated, and it's a private school. And so every Wednesday, my class walks 3 blocks to a local elementary school, and we spend the class period helping out a K-4 classroom with service. So every Wednesday during the school year, we all together walk the 3 blocks to this elementary school, and we spend the period helping, tutoring, doing activities with these students in K-4. And 2 days ago, which was Wednesday, we were doing the same thing like we normally do. Our class got together and we walked over to the school, and we kind of gathered in the room like we normally do, and we waited for the teacher to give us our assignment for the day. She then tells us that today's assignment was going to be making cards for Win, who is one of the students in the class. What she had told us was that Win was hit by a bus the day before, which was Tuesday, and that he was in the hospital and was likely to be in there for a long time. She didn't really give us the full extent of what had happened because, again, we are in a K-4 classroom, and there's only so much that a 6-year-old can understand and hear and cope with. So, that's as much as the students knew, is that he got hit by a bus and that he'd be back soon. And so Win was one of my buddies. And what I mean by that is when I went to do my service, he was one of the people that I worked with. And there's some pictures taken of us, doing like a fake telephone, and then playing dress up. And so we knew each other well. And so I made my card for Win, and so did the rest of the class. And in the background, while I'm doing my card, I hear other students, again, these are K-4 students, saying, "Why are we making these cards? Win will be back soon." And as explained by the teacher later, the reason things like that are said is because when you're in K-4, which is 6 to 7 years old, you don't really have the understanding of kind of the permanent aspect in injuries and whatnot. Someone that's 6 or 7 years old, they know that if they get a cut, they can put a Band-Aid on it and it will be better tomorrow. And they don't really understand the concept of death or severe injury. And so as we left the classroom and began to walk back to school, the teacher pulled us all together. There's about 10 of us, and told us what had actually happened. Apparently that Tuesday, as Win was getting off the school bus, he attempted to climb over a snowbank to get onto the sidewalk that led to his house. As his mom, greeted him and watched him. As he was trying to climb the snow hill, he lost his balance, slid underneath the bus, and the bus drove away. And the mom watched this whole thing. For those of you who don't know, a school bus is huge, multiple ton in weight bus that carries students to and from school. I'm not sure if it's an international concept or not. And when he was trying to go over the snow hill, he lost his balance, And the bus driver didn't know any better, They didn't think that, hey, maybe he could fall. And it ran him right over his midsection, which is also where his spine is and all his, internal organs. And he was essentially flattened. And to this day, which I'm making this commentary on Friday, he still does not have some of his organs back in his body, like his spleen, his large intestines, his pancreas, because his midsection is so swollen. And again, his mom watched this whole thing. She is a single mom raising this one kid in the middle of a downtown neighborhood that's not in the best part of, the downtown neighborhood. And she watched her son get run over by a school bus. And this really opened my eyes, because what we later learned is there is a 95% chance that Win will be paralyzed for the rest of his life. And when you think of someone that's 6 or 7 years old, you think of them as the most innocent, loving, carefree people in the world. If something bad were to happen to someone, the last person you think would deserve it would be a 6-year-old. There's an innocence and kind of something that surrounds, someone so young and innocent that when something like this happens to him, it's tragic. And of course, it was tough for me learning that my buddy, who every Wednesday I've been visiting and spending 45 minutes with every day, is going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life, most likely. And what it made me realize is, first of all, don't take your relationships with your family and friends for granted. Because as Win's mom found out, for no reason and with no, you might not see it coming, but that can be taken away from you. And that relationship with your mom, your dad, your siblings, your cousins, your friends, that can all be gone without any warning. And so don't treat them as if there will be a tomorrow. Because as Win found out, lucky for him there will be a tomorrow, but I'm sure there's many situations where there won't be. And when you think about the amount of times every day we avoid situations like this, it's incredible. Every day we're put in situations where it could be our last, and we don't even think about it. Such as a ride to school, or the ride to both work or school, and home. And, maybe you trip on a thing of ice, or you fall down the stairs and you hit your head. And you might not see it coming again, and you might not think you deserve it. But it can happen to you. And I'm sure if Win was older and he knew what he was talking about and could understand, he would probably regret the way he was living his life prior to his injury, because he did not think that tomorrow he could wake up paralyzed, or he may not even wake up at all. And so my plea to you is, please go to your loved ones, go to your friends, give them a hug, give them a kiss, and tell them what they mean to you, because your relationship with them is not permanent, and that can be taken away at any time for any reason. And if you don't think that it can happen to you, which is probably the way that I was thinking as well, and probably the way Win was thinking, you hear about these, innocent kids being shot at in Newtown, Connecticut, and you hear about these tragic stories like this, and you say, oh, that will never happen to me. And I'm sure Win and his family thought the same thing. And all I have to say is, you tell them that it will never happen to me. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you at least caused you to reflect on the way you're living your life and your relationship, because it can all be gone without any fair warning. And thanks for watching this video, guys.